Hey, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the author, Andrew Snorton, and you're joining me for the Fast 15. As we normally do each and every Wednesday about 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we take about a 15-minute moment to pause, check up, check in, enjoy an encouraging note from any of the books or audio books that I've done, have a few announcements, and close out on a positive note. As many of you are aware, when life is lifing, it can get a little bit chaotic, for lack of a better term. And sometimes you can't wait until the end of the day or the beginning of the next day to kind of pause and reboot. So just like I hope this is a moment for you to be able to do so, honestly, it's a moment for me to be able to do so. Just to kind of slow things down for a little bit, just go ahead and do a reset and then get back about your day. So I definitely appreciate each and every one of you for joining us, whether we're live, recorded, liking, sharing, reposting, all those types of things. So I definitely appreciate each and every one of you. To stay connected, make sure to add me on Instagram at AuthorASnorton. And when you click on the link in the bio, it'll take you to my Linktree, which is linktr.ee/AuthorASnorton. So when you click on the link in the bio, it'll take you to the newsletter, which comes out twice a month, all the social media handles, the website, information on upcoming book signings, archival editions of the Conversation Corner through the Status Network, updates regarding Lens to Pens podcast in collaboration with Emery Rose Photography, and of course, if you're looking for a bag or a cup of really good coffee, the Author Andrew Snorton blend in collaboration with Fonte's Coffee. So you see right here, I'm enjoying the bourbon infused, but we have a decaf, light, and medium roast. So I'd just like to thank each and every one of you and invite and encourage you to make sure to go ahead and navigate through and add on the platforms that you're going to typically use, and make sure to check out the info. And then of course, at the end, when I'm able to make announcements as to where I'm going to do authors talks, things along those lines, make sure to stop by and check me out. It'll be great to meet you. So I'm going to get a quick sip of the coffee before we start diving into our talk for the day. Okay, so before we get into our talk for the day, I always take a moment as part of our pause and reboot time just to acknowledge people who are doing well and some people who aren't. We know, like I said, when life happens, sometimes there are impacts, physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, community-wise, and otherwise. And there are people that are going through some challenging times. Seriously, there are. So if that sounds like you or someone you know, we want to send a word of encouragement to you. You have every right to feel some kind of way, but you have a bigger right to take the time to pause, reboot, re-strategize, rethink, identify constructive ways to work through, to learn, to resolve, and just put yourself in a better position, not only individually, but collectively. So if that sounds like you or someone you know, definitely, want to encourage you to identify those things. I know all of us have been guilty of getting angry, our feelings hurt, getting upset, flying off at the mouth, things along those lines. And then when we calm down, it's like, wait a minute, we probably could have handled that a little bit differently. So that's a message for all of us, regardless of what we're going through, just to try to keep things in perspective. And when you're not keeping it in perspective, as the elders would say, go sit down somewhere and get your mind together and your spirit together. On the flip side, there's some people going through some positive experiences, through those similar lenses. Sometimes it's a new job, it's a new place to live, a new vehicle. You've gone through something and you've kind of made it through that particular storm, or something positive, and you have every right to celebrate because you know what you had to work through in order to get to that positive experience. Keep it in perspective. Like, don't go overboard with your celebration, but definitely keep it in perspective. Feed off the positive energy, and let's not forget those who may not be doing so well. So that's something I always try to say. It's not only just a reminder to those that are watching and those that'll eventually watch, but it's a reminder to me to keep things in perspective. So before I dive into our topic for the day, shouts to Kelly Marie Taylor, 1971, a very creative mind, doing some creative work. So make sure to check her out and give her words of encouragement and support. So we're going to go ahead and dive into our topic from the day. So today is coming from the book Quotes and Notes, Something's on the Horizon. As many of you are familiar, I like to go to this one because it is basically a bunch of original quotes that yours truly came up with the exception of one. And better than the actual quote to make you think and look at things, it's also a way to kind of look at the logic and rationale so you have context. And then there's place is for you to journal. So if you agree, if you disagree, you want to go in a deeper direction, you want to go in a different direction, because we know what you put in your head in some way, shape, or form is going to show up in your thoughts, words, deeds, and actions. Just like we talk about our physical diet, we also have to talk about our mental diet. So that's the lens and the context through which we are operating through for Quotes and Notes. I'm going to go ahead and pull an example out here as you hear some work in the background, but that sometimes happens. Let's see what I can pull for today that hopefully will speak with some folks. So let's see what we got. Let's see what we have right here. I like this one because it does kind of spell out a couple of things. So here's the quote that I like to pull from Quotes and Notes, Something's on the Horizon. And it reads like this. The size of your platform is important, but what's more important is understanding you have one. Use it accordingly, and you never know what impact you can make. And I like going to this one. I'm going to read it one more time. The size of your platform is important, but what's most important, or what's more important, is understanding you have one. Use it accordingly. You never know what impact you can make. And I tell you what, that sounds very simple and very basic, but hey, think about it, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes people do get caught up in the numbers. I've got 100,000 followers or whatever. But all of us have a platform. All of us have a mind. All of us have a voice. All of us have something that we can do. And you think about any type of change, whether it's in your family or your immediate community, things along those lines. All it takes is one to get things started. So think about the great things that you're able to do with the platform that you have. Social media makes it a little bit easier to connect with people, but there's more than social media. Think about how you go about your business. Think about what you do on your job, what you do when you're working an event, what you do when you have an idea and it comes to fruition. And because of that idea, you're able to reinvest in your community or just give people a chance or give people a safe space, a safe landing space. So there's a number of things you can do, and it's the proverbial see what you have, work with what you have. Then as you learn more, as you're able to gain improved access to resources, think about the great things you can do. And even some of the people who are joining me live are great examples of that. King Flash HQ is an example of that with the creative work that he's doing. Next Chapter Ben's Boys, who I had the privilege of visiting earlier in the year. And I know I got to get my stuff in. We're going to get working on that. But think about the creative work that they're doing as a restaurant and a bookstore. Kelly Marie Taylor, 1971, the great work that she's doing. So all of us have platforms. All of us have minds. All of us have voices. Use them accordingly. You never know what great things can happen. So don't always get caught up in the size. Get caught up in the fact that you have one, and there's potential for greatness when you use it. So that's the quote or the message from today from Quotes and Notes, Something's on the Horizon. Make sure to check it out. Of course, you can check it out online, but you definitely want to check it out at your independent bookstores. And if it's not at your bookstore, request it. It's that simple. So a couple of quick things that I definitely want to touch base on. Many thanks to Dr. Shanita Scott through her platform Life with Shanita. That's an example of what we were talking about for our message for today. She just hosted the second annual An Elegant Evening of Jazz, which is not only a great jazz concert, but a portion of the proceeds are going to support this year, Mount Zion High School's Jazz Ensemble. Last year, 2023, is the inaugural year, and it supported the Mary Stilwell School of the Arts Jazz Program. So again, here's one person, has an idea, uses her platform. The venue is just about sold out, ladies and gentlemen, in their second event, and we see some great things happening. Shouts to the artist, Lori Williams, an amazing vocalist, doing some amazing work here in Atlanta and elsewhere. Trey Daniels, outstanding saxophonist, fraternity brother, doing amazing things. Gino Rosaria, an amazing pianist, if you have not checked him out. And then with a special guest appearance by D. Lucas, saxophonist, celebrating his 20th year. I know, shouting out. I'm just saying, it's, hey, it's just one of those things. But a great event. Shouts to Morris Baxter from 91.9 WCLK Jazz FM for being the host, and Cornelius George, the comedian. So again, definitely check out An Elegant Evening of Jazz. If you visit the other account, AuthorASnorton CCS, you'll see the article when you click on the link in the bio for AuthorASnorton CCS. So shouts to everybody who made that a great event. Upcoming events that I've got on the author end, I'm excited for the upcoming stretch that I'll have on October 26th from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Join me in Raleigh, North Carolina at Bo's Books and Brews. I'll do an author's talk there. Really excited to get back to the Research Triangle. And shouts to Jazzy B for Real, who will be the co-host and moderator. So looking forward to having a great time. So we'll feature all the books, the audio books, the coffee, and more. So again, that's October 26th, 11:30 a.m., 1:30 p.m., Raleigh, North Carolina, Bo's Books and Brews. November 2nd, from 12 to 3 p.m., join me at Nubian Bookstore in Morrow, Georgia. Again, Nubian Bookstore in Morrow, Georgia. Shouts to Marcus Williams, doing amazing things there as really the only bookstore in Clayton County. So you got to make sure to go there and check him out. But that will be November 2nd, 12 to 3 p.m., Morrow, Georgia, Nubian Bookstore. And then November 23rd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., scheduled to be in Jacksonville, Florida, or most people call it Duval. Okay, I just did it long enough to let you know I could do it. But shouts to San Marcos Books and More, as I will be doing a book signing there. Now, speaking of Jacksonville and our peers in Florida, for those that are in Central Florida, Tampa, Orlando, Jacksonville, and just anywhere in the state of Florida, South Georgia, we're already sending prayers and encouragement regarding the hurricane that is coming through. Please get out if you can, but if you cannot get out, get to the safest space that you can. And we know Tampa just got hit with one hurricane in South Georgia, just got hit with one hurricane a couple weeks ago. So we definitely want to send words of encouragement and safety out to people who are in the path of the current hurricane. The previous hurricane that hit, for those that are in Augusta, Georgia, Columbia, South Carolina, Asheville, North Carolina, and those areas, because that hurricane was supposed to go straight over Metro Atlanta, it veered to the east, and it just messed a lot of things up for a lot of people. Even here, even though we didn't get the full brunt, it was still kind of tough. So anyone still dealing with the remnants of the previous hurricane, words of encouragement and shouts to all the nonprofits and individuals and more who are doing what they can to help provide support for those in need. Let's see, those are really the main things that I can think of on the author end. And on the education and business end, AuthorASnorton CCS on Instagram. We'll be back up in Winston-Salem, North Carolina this Saturday to catch and cover the game between the Clemson Tigers and the Wake Forest University Demon Deacons. As many of you know, Wake Forest alum. I'm very fortunate to cover the team. It's the meat and potatoes part of the season, conference play. Wake's coming off of a much needed win over North Carolina State, and reading between the lines, 2 of their losses are by a combined 4 points. So the team is really not that far off. So looking forward to a great experience, again, covering the team. That will be this Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Trying to think if there's some other things that are coming up. If there's things that I forgot, check the newsletter that comes out. Usually the 1st and the 15th, or the 1st and the 16th of each month. So the next newsletter should be coming out next week, so you can check that out. If you're already on the email mailing list, you're great. If not, just inbox me your email address and I'll get you on it for the next mailing. But otherwise, if you add me on Instagram at AuthorASnorton, click on the link in the bio. The very first thing is a newsletter, which pretty much has everything. And of course, we'll update the website, social media, things along those lines. So as we get ready to close out, because I try to keep it at 15 minutes, I want to acknowledge the people who joined live. Kelly Marie Taylor, 1971. Yeah, I know, overdue, so looking forward to having a conversation. Next chapter _ Ben's Boys. Hey, if you're in Greensboro, North Carolina, please check them out. Great food, a great space. They support a number of authors, so I know I've gotten a little bit behind on some stuff, but I'll definitely make sure to be in contact with y'all to try to get something up and running, let's say first quarter of next year. I know it took a little bit longer than planned, but we're gonna make it happen. So next chapter, Ben's Boys, if you're recording this one, I'm gonna get at you for real. King Flash headquarters, King Flash HQ. Hey, check out the great work he's doing in technology, all that type of stuff. So I think that's about it for our time. Thank each and every one of you for liking, sharing, reposting, joining, commenting, encouraging not only me, but encouraging each other. Like I said, life can be real tricky sometimes, and all of us, myself included, have taken some L's. We've had some setbacks. We've made mistakes. And things along those lines. But hopefully, all of us have the opportunity to learn from those, get better, do better, move differently, and move creatively, so we can just connect with the greatness that's inside of us. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I hope all of you, especially those of you still dealing with the hurricane and anything else, are as safe and sound as possible. And even though I flip the order sometimes, hopefully you guys know the intent, whether small or swift. A victory is a victory, whether slow or swift. Movement is movement. So keep it victorious, keep it moving. All of you take good care. I look forward to seeing you guys real soon. All right, take care, y'all.